Hey, so in our first episode, you mentioned that depression to you is like a cleansing fire. It helps you to let go of certain mindsets, people, or contexts that are harmful to your mental health. Now, what do you do when those contributing to your depressive cycle are your church members, friends, or family? Aren't we told to love our neighbours?
I think it's important to understand that the mindsets you have of people are still mindsets, and that's usually the problem with how you relate with people. Of course, some people are just quite toxic and really shouldn't be in your life. And I would say in those cases, you can love them from a distance. We're not told to endure bad company. In fact, we're told the opposite. We're told to make good friends. Um, so in those cases where it's very obvious that the people they themselves are toxic, then I would say think about moving on from them.
Now, you did say it should be obvious, but it might not be so obvious to some people. How do you identify a toxic relationship?
As Christians, we should be looking at the fruits from the relationship. If the relationship is bearing things like anxiety, depression, anger, resentment, then I feel like that's obvious. That's probably a toxic relationship. But sometimes it can be really hard because you're stuck in the moment of it all, and I acknowledge that because it is difficult to untangle yourself when you're in the middle of the mess. So I think the best advice would be to again step back and take it to God, tell Him to help you figure things out, and of course reading the Bible. I think specifically with identifying toxic people, Proverbs is a very, very, very strong start because it talks about many examples of destructive people, which, by the way, is what I mean by toxic. Because I think these days a lot of people like to use the word toxic here and there casually, but I think toxic really means that it's destructive, right? It will destroy your soul. And that's something we are told to guard our hearts against, because you shouldn't be enduring things that destroy your soul, right? In the case where it's people who are just oblivious or don't know how you're going through or can't relate or can't help, and then they're contributing in other ways that are kind of unintentional in a sense. I would say